Hello friends, welcome to the lecture series on cell biology. Today we are going to learn about next type of cell organelle, that is plastids. We will concentrate more on the most important type of plastid, that is chloroplast. So in this video we will learn about types of plastids and we will learn about the chloroplast, its structure, chemical composition and functions. So let us start with plastids. These plastids are present in all living plant cells and in Euglena, and these plastids are small cytoplasmic bodies. They are absent in different types of bacteria, or we may call into prokaryotic cell. They are also absent in some fungi and myxomycetes. Plastids are the distinguishing features of plant kingdom and are absent in animal cells. Plastids are often more or less spherical or disc-shaped. Their size, it ranges from 1 micrometer to 1 millimeter. The term plastid, it was first used by AFW Schimper in 1885. The plastids, they synthesize food and store carbohydrates, lipids and proteins. As like mitochondria, plant plastids contain their own DNA as well as 70s ribosomes, which making them semi-autonomous body as they are involved in the protein synthesis. So if you see, the 70s ribosomes are present in prokaryotic cells and same type of ribosomes can be seen into plastids. Also these plastid, they have the capacity to produce its own DNA and they have the tendency to self-replication of DNA, and due to their own DNA and own ribosomes, they are actively involved in the process of protein synthesis, and so that they are known as semi-autonomous body. There are different types of plastids on the basis of structure, pigmentations and function. So Schimper was the scientist who classified these plastid into different three types. First type, it is Leucoplast, second is Chromoplast and third is Chloroplast. So one by one we will discuss. Leucoplast, if you see, leuco means colorless, or we may call it as white in color. So these type of plastid, they are present into embryonic and germ cells. They can also be seen in meristematic cells and in those regions which are not receiving light, because that region which not receive light, so that it becomes white or colorless. So true leucoplasts do not contain thylakoid and even ribosomes. The functions of these leukocyte is to store food material in the form of carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and accordingly they are of different types. Means on the basis of food material stored by leucoplast, they are again subdivided into different types. First is amyloplast, second is ileoplast, and next is proteinoplasts. So amyloplasts are the leucoplasts which will store carbohydrates. Ileoplasts are the leucoplasts which will store fats or lipids, and proteinoplasts, they are the leucoplasts which will store proteins in their body. So these are different types of leucoplasts. Amyloplasts, as we have discussed, they are those leucoplasts which synthesize and store starch. Ileoplasts store the lipids, that is in the form of oils, and occur in seeds of monocotyledons and dicotyledon seeds. Then proteinoplasts are the protein storing plastid which mostly occur in seeds of different plants. Now next type of plastid, it is known as chromoplast. Now chromo, it is associated with color. So these are nothing but the colored plastids. As we have seen, leucoplasts, they will colorless plastids, but chromoplasts, they are colored plastids. So the chromoplasts are the colored plastids which are present in the cytoplasm of the plant cells. they contain different color pigments and they synthesize food by the process of photosynthesis. Now, they contain different types of fat soluble carotenoid pigments. They impart color, that is different types of colors, yellow, orange and red, to certain portions of plants such as flower petals. For example, you can say daffodil, rose. These are more attractive flowers and they impart such type of colors due to presence of these different types of chromoplast in them. Then you might have seen fruits like tomatoes. They are having very attractive color red, and this red color is due to these chromoplasts. And some roots, for example carrots, you know very well carrot contains orange in color, and this orange color of carrot, it is due to this chromoplast. Now, structure of chromoplast is quite diverse and they may be round. Chromoplast may be round, ellipsoidal or even needle shaped. Chromoplast of blue-green algae or cyanobacteria contains various pigments such as phycoerythrin, phycocyanin, chlorophyll and carotenoids. So all these are the different types of pigments which are present into the chromoplasts. Now we will proceed to most important and third type of plastid, that is chloroplast. So this is most widely occurring chromoplast of the plant, as it is nothing but the chromoplast. Why? Because it is green in color, it is colored, so it is also treated as chromoplast. But due to its importance in different types of photosynthetic activities, this chloroplast, it is situated, it is shifted into a separate type of plastid. Now, the chloroplast, it contains the pigment chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, and also it contains DNA and RNA. Chloroplasts, they are green plastids which contain large amount of green pigments and they are called as chlorophyll. Now, important function of chloroplast we know very well, it is photosynthesis. So this photosynthetic activity which is completed by this chloroplast, it is very important biologically, because entire food chain, it is depend upon these chloroplasts. Because when green plant contains this chloroplast, then and then they will produce their own food and they will transfer that food in the form of energy to the different types of further trophic levels. So chloroplasts are very important to carry out the function of photosynthesis, and also they are actively involved in the process of synthesis of food in the form of carbohydrates. Now chloroplasts are evenly distributed in the cytoplasm of plant cells and they may be filamentous. There are different sizes and shapes of these chloroplasts. They may be filamentous, they may be saucer shaped, they may be spherical, they may be ovoid, they may be disc shaped, club shaped, lens shaped, ellipsoidal, etc. So these are the diversity in the size and shapes of chloroplasts. The size of chloroplast generally ranges from 4 to 6 micron in length and 1 to 3 micron in thickness. The algae usually have a single huge chloroplast, and in higher plant there are 20 to 40 chloroplasts in each cells. Now we will learn about chloroplast in detail. We will start to see chloroplast from its structure, then we will proceed to the functions and chemical composition of chloroplast. So first of all, we will see what is the structure and ultrastructure of chloroplast. You can see this diagram here. This is the very simple structure of chloroplast shown in the diagram, and it has different parts. So this, it is outer membrane of the chloroplast, and these are grana lamellae, and this part, that is empty part space, it is known as stroma. So this is very important and very simple structure of chloroplast. Now typical chloroplast, it contains following three main components. First is envelope, second is stroma, and third is thylakoid. Let me introduce you about these all parts. So envelope, this part, that is orange colored part shown in diagram, it is nothing but the envelope. Stroma, this part, so this empty space, it is nothing but the stroma. What is chemical composition of stroma? What are the different regions or different chemicals present into the stroma? We will see in detail. Thylakoids, these are nothing but the thylakoids. So here you can see this is a single thylakoid. So all these are the different parts of a chloroplast. So let us see one by one in detail. First of all, we'll see envelope. So envelope, it is nothing but the outer covering of the chloroplast, and this is known as envelope. And this envelope, it is made up of from double unit membrane. Both the unit membranes are separated from each other by a intermembranous space. So here you can see this is intermembranous space. So this is inner membrane and this is the outer membrane, and both these membranes, they are separated from each other by intermembranous space, or it is known as periplastidial space, and this space is about 25 to 75 angstrom in width. Across this double membrane envelope, exchange of molecules between chloroplast and cytoplasmic matrix takes place. Means the different types of components, they will be transferred from cytoplasm to chloroplast and chloroplast to cytoplasm through this membrane. So this is very important unit membrane. Now if you see outer membrane of chloroplast, it is permeable to a variety of compounds having low molecular weight, while the inner membrane is selectively permeable. That is, it is permeable to some substances and impermeable to a number of compounds such as sucrose, phosphatidase, then nucleotides. So thus it acts as the barrier between chloroplast and cytoplasm. So if you see this membrane, it is sometimes permeable to some components, but sometimes it is impermeable to some important components. So it acts as a barrier between the chloroplast and cytoplasm of the cell. So this is nothing but the membrane, or it is known as envelope. So this is outer membrane and this is inner membrane. Now next part we will see stroma. Stroma is also known as matrix. So here you can see this part, blue part, you can see here this space. So all this space, it includes stroma, or it is also known as matrix. So the matrix or stroma, it fills most of the volume of chloroplast and is a kind of gel fluid phase. So here this part, it is nothing but the gel fluid that surrounds thylakoid, that is grana. So this part, it surrounds grana or thylakoids. Stroma, it is proteinaceous in nature and it contains 50% of total chloroplast protein. So this stroma, this part, it is composed of proteins, and 50% of total proteins of chloroplast, they are present into this stroma. In addition to proteins, it also contains a variety of substances which are suspended into this matrix, which are starch granules, osmophilic globules or droplets. Starch granules are found after photosynthesis. Then large osmophilic globules or droplets are also known as plastoglobuli. They are also present into this stroma. So number of these plastoglobuli increases with the age of chloroplast. Now the stroma also contains some other proteins bodies known as pyronoids. So sometimes this stroma, it also contains some protein bodies known as pyronoids. The stroma also contains ribosomes. We know that is 70S ribosome, which is similar to prokaryotic cells, and also contains DNA molecules. Then number of DNA molecules per cell varies from the cell to cell. The stroma is the place where carbon dioxide fixation occurs and where synthesis of sugar, starch, fatty acid and some proteins takes place. So it also contains all the biochemical factors and enzymes which are required for the DNA replication, RNAs and other various enzymes. Now therefore these chloroplasts, they are known as semi-autonomous organelles because this stroma, it contains very important enzymes, then DNA, RNA and other different types of components which are required for the protein synthesis. Now this stroma, it is also known as a reaction center because it has different types of active enzymes present in it. As it contains its own DNA and ribosomes, they are actively involved in the process of protein synthesis, and so that they are also known as cell into cell, or they are also known as semi-autonomous organelle. Now we will see next part or next portion of this chloroplast. Third, that is thylakoid. It is also known as grana. So you might have seen this diagram. So here you can see this is double membrane of chloroplast. These are the grana lamellae and these are this part, it is nothing but the stroma. If you see this thylakoid in enlarged part or enlarged section, you can see like this. So entire this part, it is known as granum. So here you can see this is a entire granum, and these two granum, they are interlinked by the grana lamellae. Now the matrix of the chloroplasts of higher plants contains many lamellar, granular and chlorophyll bearing bodies. They are known as grana. So what are these grana? These are the lamellar and granular chlorophyll bearing bodies which are known as grana. So here you can see this is a granum. So singular is known as granum, and all these grana which are present into this stroma, they are known as grana. Now this singular granum, here you can see, and it is composed of thylakoids. So this one, it is nothing but the thylakoid, and all these thylakoids come on each other as like stack of coins and they form a grana. The thylakoids consist of flattened and closed vesicle arranged as a membranous network. The outer surface of thylakoid is in contact with the stroma, and its inner surface encloses the intrathylakoid space. So here you can see this part of this grana, it is in contact with the stroma, and this inner part, it contains intrathylakoid space. Generally each chloroplast contains 10 to 40 grana. So such type of grana, number of such type of grana into each cell or each chloroplast, it will be 10 to 40 per chloroplast. Now each granum, it is composed of 10 to 100 disc-like or sac-like superimposed membranous compartments, and they are known as thylakoids. So these grana, they are variously made up from the number of different types of thylakoids. Sometimes number of thylakoid, it may be 10 in some chloroplast, and it ranges to up to 100 in some chloroplasts. So they are known as thylakoids. In the granum, the thylakoids are arranged parallel to form a stack in which thylakoids are arranged one upon another, just like the piles of coins. So here you can see this is a thylakoid, then another thylakoid, then third thylakoid, fourth thylakoid. So in this way, all these thylakoids are arranged one above another as like the piles of coin, and this will form a granum. Now the thylakoids are 80 to 120 angstrom in size across the pile. Each thylakoid encloses a space, it is called as lumen or locule. So this space, it is known as lumen or a locule. The number of thylakoids in each granum, it varies. The grana are interconnected by a network of membranous flat tubules, and these connecting membranes which connect neighboring grana, they are known as stromatal lamellae. So here you can see these bluish part, it is known as stroma lamellae. Why? Because they are also known as grana lamellae, because they connect two neighboring grana with each other. So here you can see this is one granum, this is another granum. They are both connected to each other by this stroma lamellae. Here you can see this is stroma lamellae, here stroma lamellae, these are stroma lamellae. So these parts are known as stromal lamellae, or it is known as intergrana, or it is also known as frets. So these are the thylakoids or the grana part. Now we will see concept of contasomes. Now what are contasomes? Now if we see ultrastructure of this thylakoid membrane, it will contains many paracrystalline spherical particles, and they are known as contasomes. These contasomes are about 180 angstrom long, 160 angstrom thick. Contasomes are the smallest units which are capable to carry out photochemical reactions. So each contasome contains about 230 chlorophyll molecules and 48 carotenoid molecules with a reaction center. In addition to pigments, contasomes also contains proteins and lipids molecules which are essential to harvest light energy and also to carry out the photophosphorylation process. So the light reaction takes place in grana while the dark reaction in stroma. So here you can see, if you see the section of a thylakoid, it contains many particle like structures, and these are known as contasomes, which are having the size 180 angstrom to 160 angstrom, means 180 angstrom long and 160 angstrom thick. So these contasomes are very important parts which are involved in the photochemical reaction. Now if we see the structure of this contasome, enlarged structure, here you can see this is a contasome and it contains a reaction center, and this is the pigment system. So this is very important part to harvest light energy and to carry out the process of photophosphorylation. So these are nothing but the contasomes. The chloroplasts, they act as elaborated biochemical machine which transform the solar energy into chemical energy, which is stored in the form of food during photosynthesis. Now you can see here the entire ultrastructure of chloroplasts. These are the chloroplast, entire chloroplast. They will, if you see this part, that is granum, it can look like this. So enlarged structure of this grana, it looks like this. Now if you see a thylakoid, it will see like this. So section of a thylakoid, and this is the contasome. So this is nothing but the ultrastructure of a chloroplast. Now after completion of the seeing structure of this chloroplast, we will proceed to chemical composition of chloroplast. Now chloroplast, it is the main and important type of plastid generally present into the leaves of green plants. The chloroplasts, they chemically compose of carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, chlorophylls, carotenoids, which includes carotene and xanthopylls. They also contain DNA, RNA and certain other enzymes and coenzymes. The chloroplasts also contain some metallic atoms like ferrous, copper, manganese and zinc. Now chloroplast contains very less amount of carbohydrates, and most common carbohydrates are the starch and sugar phosphates. Now lipid concentration of chloroplast is about 20 to 30%. Lipids are in the form of fats, sterols, waxes and phospholipids. The most common alcohol of the lipid are the choline, inositol, glycerol and ethanol amine. Chloroplasts also contains about 35 to 55% proteins, about 80% of which are insoluble and forming the unit membrane of the chloroplast along with lipids. 20% soluble proteins are present in the form of enzymes. Now The chloroplast also contains green pigments like chlorophyll. The chlorophyll contains 75% chlorophyll A and 25% chlorophyll B. Chemically, chlorophyll is a porphyrin which contains magnesium atom in between the rings of pyrroles which remain connected with each other by a methyl group. Now, chemically also we know chloroplast also contains chloroplast DNA. It is also commonly known as ctDNA. So, Ris and Plant 1962 they first reported the DNA molecule in the chloroplast of unicellular alga, that is Chlamydomonas. Later it is seen in chloroplasts of other algae and higher plants. The DNA of chloroplast it is double stranded and circular like prokaryotic cell. So this DNA it differs from nuclear DNA. The chloroplast DNA is capable of self-replication, hence the chloroplast gets divided into two and plays important role in the cytoplasmic inheritance. Chloroplast DNA it is present in the stroma of chloroplast in multiple copies. Chloroplast DNA in the partial control of nuclear DNA it is capable of coding for about 150 proteins which are necessary for the synthesis of lipids and carbohydrates during the process of photosynthesis. Now, as like chloroplast DNA, chloroplast also contain a chloroplast ribosomes, and these are special type of ribosomes which are present in chloroplast. So, these 70s ribosomes are very important and very similar to prokaryotic cell and which are very important for the process of protein synthesis. Now, apart from this, chloroplast also contains other chemicals like tRNA, the various enzymes which are necessary for protein synthesis. Since these chloroplasts have their own RNA, DNA, ribosomes, various enzymes of protein synthesis, they are also known as cell within the cell. So these are the different chemicals which are present into the chloroplast. Now we will see last part of the chloroplast, that is functions of chloroplast. So first and very important function of chloroplast, we know it is nothing but the photosynthesis. So this chloroplast, as we have seen the structure of chloroplast, quantasomes, these thylakoid pigments, grana, stroma, all these different parts, they are involved in the process of photosynthesis, and in the process of photosynthesis they will synthesize different types of substances like sugars, starches, amino acids, fats, etc., and they will formed in presence of light. So here you can see CO2, carbon dioxide and water, they come in contact with each other with the help of light and chlorophylls. They will synthesize food in the form of carbohydrates. So 6C6H12O6. So this is the type of carbohydrate which is synthesized into the plant. So this is very important function of the chloroplast. Now, role in food storage. Plastids like leucoplasts which are present in the cytoplasm, they are involved in the storage of food material. For example, starch in amyloplast, steroids in ileoplast, proteins in aleuroplast. So this is a role of chloroplast into storage of the food. Now, role in pigmentation, that is in coloration. So these chloroplasts, they are responsible for different colors of flowers and fruits. As we know, we should know that these different types of plastids are interconvertible. Sometimes chloroplast may convert into leucoplast, sometimes they may again convert into chromoplast, like this. So different types of flowers and fruits, they get different types of colors, which is due to these chloroplast, or we may call due to plastids. Now, role in photosynthesis, protein synthesis. So as we have seen that chloroplasts have their own machinery, that is tRNA, rRNA, mRNA, then they contain their own DNA, they contain their own enzymes, own ribosomes. They are actively involved in the protein synthesis. Means chloroplast has their own machinery of protein synthesis. Now, last function is cytoplasmic inheritance. So as we have seen that most of the characters are transmitted in the next generation through the nuclear DNA, which is present into the chromosomes, but chloroplast also contains DNA, most popularly known as ctDNA or chloroplast DNA. During cell division, the division of chloroplast also takes place due to chloroplast DNA, which then passes in the daughter cell. Thus, chloroplast DNA carries and transfers some characters in the resulting cell of next generation. So, thus chloroplast plays very important role in the process of cytoplasmic inheritance, or it is also known as extranuclear inheritance. So, these are very important functions of chloroplast. So, in this video, we have seen the different types of plastids, then most emphasis is given on chloroplast, and we have seen structure, ultrastructure, chemical composition and functions of chloroplast. Hope you understand the concept, or if you like this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your attention.